What's going on, everybody? It's Tetrosphere, and we have even more footage from the GalaxyBusterTCG Switch 2 tournament that occurred over the weekend. A couple more heavyweights. Like I said, guys, the caliber of player at this tournament was through the roof, off the charts, completely. You guys picked the third one. All the pieces are there. You know what I'm driving at. On the left, we have Nick playing Dracotail, and on the right, we have Chris playing Vanquish. Starting us off is Chris with the case for K9. I am completely stoked for this match. Two of my favorite players. Full glaze. Full glaze. I'll hear about it in the comments. I don't care. These guys are goated. Searching Noroi. Summons fine. No droll. Nothing on res. Nothing on Noroi effect. Noroi's going to go ahead and summon that Jokel from deck. And let's see. Are we going to go Jokel to search? Yes, we will. Sometimes you might Noroi to look first. But looks like we just go ahead and go right in for Jokel. We already checked for droll, so no need to go crazy there. Another Noroi is added. Okay, so now we're going to send Case to look at the hand. And we see Flame. We see Ghost Spell. We see Nib. We see Fimena. So a pretty decent hand, I would say, especially for the matchup. I would say that's pretty strong. I mean, obviously you prefer not to draw the traps, but I mean, you know, you can't always draw 5 amazing cards. So we go overlay for Ripper. Ripper effect to add. Detaching the Noroi. This seems to be okay. We add another Jokel. Lantern was going to try to summon itself, reviving Noroi from grave. That's met with the Ghost Bell. Jokel's going to reveal itself and Lantern to search or summon them both. And then Lantern is going to search the quick play spell on open game state on its ignition effect. Now that we've played into the Azuna, that's going to go ahead and summon from hand with its own effect, and then on summon send the K9 Lupus from deck to grave, which can. But we send another Noroi. Oh, I see. We already had Lupus. Okay. So now we're going to go for, looks like a Link 4. Saryuja. Lupus is banished because when it leaves the field after being summoned by its own effect, it does go into banishment. Off the effect of Saryuja, we do draw 4. I think it's put back 3, right? Or is it put back 2? Or is it put... I'm not tripping, right? You do put back on off Saryuja. Yeah, it looks like we're putting back an Azuna. Basically, we're probably just going to put back a bunch of engine pieces, which I think makes complete sense. Keeping one... Nope. Okay, so it looks like we have one Azuna left in hand. Ash, quick play spell, and an Imperm, I think that was to set. To back up this Ripper into Saryuja Skull Dread. We're going to attempt Nib. Ripper's going to go ahead and negate it. And then it looks like we don't find Mena on the follow-up. Alright. First action on our end, Rahu. That's met with Ash Blossom. We do have the Fimena, though. So we have Urgula and Nib in hand, which we can use to make either Arthalion or Gulamel. Oh, no, there was no Imperm. That's a Xiaolong in hand, it looks like. Okay. No trap. I don't know why I thought I saw a trap. Alright, so summoned is Arthalion, which is going to target the Saryuja and the Fimena to add to hand, and then of course Urgula on Chainlink 2 to set and then pop. This is going to be met with the Forced Release, which targets the Ripper to go ahead and rank that up. We have nothing on res, so Forced Release is also going to pop the Arthalion. Arthalion should resolve successfully here. Yeah, Fimena was added back to hand. Maybe we didn't target Skull Dread. Maybe it was Ripper that we targeted. Alright, we set Ketu off of Urgla effect, and we do go ahead and activate that. In response, we chain Werewolf to look at the hand and banish a card until the end phase. We, of course, banish that Phimena, which does mean we won't be able to perform a fusion summon with whatever we add here because we only have one monster. We do add Lucius. Lucius will then be normal summoned, and it will add. What do you add, though, that has anything meaningful? Because you already used Phimena's effect, and you're going to get it back in the end phase anyway. You're locked into fusions because of Rahu. You could add Pan to try and survive the turn, and then when you get the Phimena back, you have Pan and Lucius to fuse off. And then you do still have Flame to back that up because you hard drew it. We're going into Typhon, but be clear, we should not be able to because... Oh, I'm a liar. Rahu, that's part of the effect that fusion locks you, it's not a condition. It's an also. It's like SP Little Knight. So you're not fusion locked. So you do go ahead and go into Typhon. Typhon beats over the Skull Dread apparently. What happened? How did we get the material off of Typhon? Wait. Okay, I think that's how we are. I might have missed something. Hold up. I normally don't rewind. Hold up. Okay, so Typhon. Typhon detached to... Okay, that's what it was. We bounced the Werewolf. I was too focused on the Rahu thing for a moment there. So we bounced the Werewolf and then beat over the Saryuja. That's what happened. Okay. Cool beans. And then we set our Flame. We go Urgla effect to bottom deck itself. Put Lucius back in hand. Phimena comes back to hand. And now we do have Pan, Phimena, and Lucius with a Typhon on the field. Passing it back over to Chris. Draws for turn, and, ooh, a full Alos, not bad. If we think we can play and force that Phimena. Depending on what the other two cards are, of course. But we normal summon the Fuwa instead. Are we making a Typhon of our own? This seems to be the case. A couple Superstar Slayers staring each other down. And on Summon of Typhon, we attempt Phimena. Using Pan and Lucius. Pan is under 3k. It will be able to activate. Do we have a chain block for the Gulamel? No, we don't. And that was enough for Chris to say, you got it, buddy. Let's go to game 2. Yeah, when you draw those all engine hands, that can sometimes be decent against Dracotail. But Dracotail is just so strong going second that you really need competent non-engine to back up your half-board, which, you know, with like the Ripper and the Saryuja, that's basically all we had. The Saryuja did draw us into the Ash, which, you know, is normally pretty good. It just was not enough. A second hand trap there and you might have been in business, but I think truly the Ripper was dead, so your only real interactions was the Werewolf and the Ash Blossom. It just wasn't enough to stop the pushes. Alright, side decking now. It is no question that Chris has a side plan for Dracotail. The question is, does Nick have a side plan for Canine Vanquish? Because although it is generally a pretty poor matchup for Dracotail, it's not a deck that you think you're going to see a whole lot of. It's not, you know, it's not up there with branded Dracotail or Mitsuyumi in terms of power level. Only because of the consistency hits. Obviously, when it plays, it's still just as good as it ever was. The ceiling was never hurt. Point being, you might not respect it that much in siding. When you're building your deck, the technology that you bring in for this matchup is probably just the same cards that are good into the top 2 decks that kind of have a little bit of a crossover. So, of course, we're talking about things like Chummies. You might be talking about Droll, Ash, Bell, Nib. Just your general good stuff hand traps. Probably not looking at any targeted hate. Although, as I say that, there really is not a lot of good targeted hate for this deck to begin with. It's very resilient to non-engine in general, so... It really is one of those decks that forces the player to outplay their opponent, because the words on the cards are not enough to beat Vanquish Soul Canine. Sorry about that. Wife was trying to call me. Regardless. Oh, showing the hand again. That looks like a ton of engine, but a good mix of Vanquish Soul and Canine there. We go ahead and normal summon Noroi. Noroi is going to special summon from deck. I do see an Ash Blossom on the side of Nick. I also saw a Droll and Lockbird and a Nibiru. Noroi is allowed. We summon Jokel once again. This time we go straight for the Ripper. Let's go Holly Sue, reveal Mad Love to summon herself. All good there. Holly Sue is now going to reveal Fire and Dark to summon from deck. That's going to be met with Ash Blossom. We decide to save the Ripper. Now we're going to go Xiaolong because something was revealed to activate a Vanquish Soul effect. It can summon itself, and it indeed hits the field. We do attempt Nibiru here. That's negated by the Ripper. And looks like we're thinking here. We attempt Phimena. Oh, I didn't even see that. That is a lot of interaction from the hand. And we're using all of our cards. The Mululu, the Nibiru, and the Nib. So this is going to be a bounce for 3 from Arthalion. Only setting 1 from the Mululu. Let's see what we got here. Arthalion targets Xiaolong, Ash, and Phimena. I think this is probably what I would do. The only thing I'm deciding between is the Phimena and the Ripper, which it looks like we do go ahead and settle on the Phimena. And then it's, of course, Mululu to set and negate. Now, not going for the Ripper here, you do negate the Ripper with Mululu so it can't search the quick play. you're basically putting them on have another way to access it, or no. We do have Lupus to extend, so we did draw that twice. Which means we do have access to another rank 5 play. We did set Ketu off the effect of Mululu. We do have Nash Knight here, slurping up the Arthalion and attaching Masquerade, and then it ranks itself up into CXC's Nash Knight. And that is going to pop the set Ketu, very smart there, by summoning, by making Umbral. It is MST on summon. So now in the hand is Phimena and Ash. On the side of Chris, our hand is Xiaolong and Madlove. Now this is a conundrum for Nick because we basically have a field negate plus hand rip and a hand or grave monster effect negate. Looks like we drew Urgula, if I'm not mistaken. Hard to tell for sure. So we could theoretically Phimena. The problem is it's just going to get negated by the Ripper. Yeah, that I believe that was Urgula. So we attempt Phimena. You let this resolve. So it's Urgula plus Ash into an Arthalion. Arthalion on Chainlink 1 targeting Umbral and Mululu. And then, of course, Urgula is going to set. Chris, I'm genuinely I gotta know. Did you consider negating the Phimena there? Like, what was your thought process on not negating that? Oh, I'm a freaking moron. It was negated by Mululu. Chris, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for judging. I'm sorry. We set Ketu off of Urgula. We activate Ketu, add Pan. Now we can normal the Mululu. Perform a fusion summon with Pan and Mululu. We'll go ahead and I think we activated Ripper there for fun just to chain block the Gulamel. Maybe, but I don't know what that would have difference it would have made. So we do set both traps there instead of trying to get access to Rahu. We can even Urgula to add back a Phimena here. Alright, just punching for 58. Urgula's going to add the Phimena. So we've got Phimena, we've got Gulamel, we've got two traps as our points of interaction. Looks like we attempt Lupus to summon itself from grave. And we do attempt to Xyz summon. We do make our untargetable Typhon. And we pass it on over, drawing into Ash Blossom. That's pretty good. It deals with one of the traps. So what can we do here? In theory, we could out both of these monsters by swinging over the Gulamel while it's untargetable. And then bouncing the Arthalion. If we wanted to. If we felt like that was important. We have the traps, but we have a way of dealing with at least one, and Horn is not really live while... I mean, you can bounce your own thing, but then you're playing into the game plan anyway. Okay, so we go right in for the detach to bounce. Pan only triggers on destruction, not any way that the monster leaves the field, so we will be fine here. So we go ahead and bounce the Gulamel. So now Phimena is not live. Mad Love hits the field and is going to try to add the field spell. This, of course, makes Flame live. If we activate it, we can Ash the Flame, but then Horn can bounce whatever we target, making it difficult for that to resolve anyways. Linking off into Rock instead. Possibly trying to bait the Horn. We do go Rock to add. We still have the Xiaolong, so Holly Sue might be the play here. Seems to be the case. Holly Sue reveals Xiaolong. No problem there. And we do have Fire and Dark. But instead we're going to go ahead and summon the Xiaolong. Oh no, we have Fire. Mad Love's Engraved. That's right. Okay. So Holly Sue was not live like that anyway. We're going to go Horn now, targeting Rock of the Vanquisher. I believe he was just fishing for a draw there, possibly trying to get some material for Phimena, but it looks like we drew into a spell. So now we go Start. Start effect, Flame, attempt, Ash, negate Flame. So Start will resolve. The game is now afoot. Carefully considering all known information before we make our ad. Even taking the time to look into our opponent's grave. So we add Caesar Valius, the biggin. Now, while that Typhon is on the field, its effect is not live. It does have 3,000 attack. What do we do? Oh, okay, he pointed it out. We're good. We're good. Cool beans. Now, if we play like a SP, that will trigger the Arthalion Engraved to revive itself, but not the end of the world, and it will make Caesar Valius live. Plus, we can banish something from grave if we so desire. Or get rid of the Arthalion that's on field now. Because the one that comes out of grave will also be banished when it leaves the field. Alright, so we do this. Xiaolong plus Typhon. Make SP. Looks like we're thinking about banishing something in the grave. Now, this can be a little precarious against Dracotail because the traps do allow them to recover from banishment. So it's not like whatever you banish here is going to be truly gone forever. But it does require Nick to have the other trap in rotation, which you may have sighted down on traps. So we banished the Arthalion. For whatever reason, we didn't trigger it to summon itself. Caesar, summon, reveal to pop Arthalion. We can't attack directly because we banished with SP. Alright, draw for turn is Nick, and we do have a Phimena plus some monster, I can't quite make out what, plus Rahu Dracotail to get playing. Oh, we are on a canine package. Okay, so we're using Lupus and Phimena from hand, plus Urgula from deck. So this could only possibly be making our Thalion. So our Thalion will be able to bounce too. Looks like we're trying to bounce Pan and Mululu. Phimena can set, Urgula can set, and the Arthalion Engrave can summon itself. SP targeting the Arthalion on field in itself. Urgula pops field spell while setting. We do set a Ketu. We set Sting. Okay, so we do still have all 3 traps in rotation. And Pan and Mululu are returned to hand. Urgula is going to bottom deck itself to put Phimena back in the hand. And in open game state, we attempt Ketu Dracotail. It is worth pointing out that Ketu can make any dragon or spellcaster, but what outs the Valius? So we add Lucius with the effect of Ketu. We fuse away the Pan and the Lucius into a Secretarian, which does mean that Caesar Valius cannot activate its effects. It is a special summoned dragon. So we do go Pan and Arthalion to revive itself. So Arthalion revives itself. Valius gets popped. And we do have to setting a Ketu for follow-up. Now, I believe we're going to have no issue pushing for game here because now Secretarian can target 2 Engrave, revive one of them, put one back in the deck. I think if we just revive the Pan, or okay, I guess we're going to put the Pan back and then search it again off of Lucius. I don't think we've done Phimena to fuse, so another fusion summon should lock this in. We do have Lupus to revive itself. We're going to beat over the Lupus, so it's banished. Attack for Secretarian. That must be game anyway. We're scooping up. So a decided 2-0 from Nick. However, that game 2 was not an easy victory. Chris really made him kick and scream to grab that one, but he was able to secure the victory in 2-0 fashion. And looks like our players are just having some friendly banter, talking about tech options and how the match went. I do appreciate you guys checking this out. It was a fun match to watch. We do have like 5 or 6 more, like I said, so I will see you on the next one. Peace.